A very great morning to everyone, and welcome to Skilling on Saturdays. We have been witnessing various speakers on different topics, and it would be great to bring you forward today a speaker in the field of creative writing. So we have with us today an esteemed speaker, Heena Shrivastava. She is a master trainer. She is a master trainer as well, a master practitioner of NLP. She is the founder of Writernama, a venture of her where she guides people on how to write effectively and how to make influence with your writing. Heena ji is an author of 4 books, which is an international, and as well as she is an international book coach. She has helped more than 100 people in creative writing and storytelling. She is also a certified storytelling coach who has bring laurels and certifications in NLP as a master practitioner and trainer. She has worked with some renowned dailies like Times of India and Hindustan Times as well, which has given her an eagle eye view on the nitty gritties of writing. And all this finally culminated in her to find her own calling in creative writing. And we are already witnessing the magic of her creative writing via her social media platforms. So, with a short introduction, we welcome you, Heena. Please share your expertise and wisdom with all of us.
Uh, Thank you so much, Shivani, for such a beautiful introduction. I'm absolutely clean bold. And thank you so much, everyone, for being here in the wee hours of morning. And that really gets me going. And Cool. So let's begin with few questions so that we can do a warm up. Uh, you can either raise your digital hand or you can come on camera and raise your hand. All right. So, how many of you are already into writing in terms of maybe on social media or maybe even if it is an email, that's fine with me. So how many of you, or maybe content or maybe books?
I hope email writing is everyone is doing as well as social media writing.
Yeah, so
Yes,
you can
Nidhi.
raise your hand. Cool. Okay, Nidhi says yes. Okay, so we are not into emails. Oh, emails for sure. Yeah, Rashida is there. Great. All right. So yeah, now the chat box is kind of doing the warm-ups. Okay, great. So Shanta says yes. Abida, Alok says yes. Cool, amazing. Uh, okay, and how many of you want to begin writing in any form? I'm not getting limited to book writing. Anything. If you want to, start your blog or if you want to work on your writing, how many of you want to do that? Cool, awesome. Want to start a blog? Nidhi says, okay. Narendra's, oh, writing is passion, lovely. So Shanta wants to start a blog. Okay, lovely, amazing. Uh, okay, and how many of you don't want to write a book or haven't thought about writing a book yet you want to learn the secrets of writing? It might so happen that you haven't given a thought about writing a book. That is completely fine because writing is not just centric to book writing. That's the last stage. Wow, Rashida, Kruti, Abida has already written the book, yet she is interested. Cool, cool, amazing, great. Uh, okay, one last question. Choose between these two things: becoming a best-selling author versus becoming a best author. One or two. Becoming a best-selling author or becoming a best author? All right. Since most of you are choosing, all of you are choosing number two, I would love to know what, according to you, is the difference, or what made you choose the second one? Why this shift from best selling to best? What came to your mind? What difference came to your mind? First is commercial, second is heart. Okay, lovely. Best selling means to make people listen what they want. Okay, and what is best about the best author being about Vasu? Narendra says writing for own satisfaction. Okay, what is the difference which you can spot between becoming a best selling author and a best author? Best selling will follow if I'm the best. Okay, that's a lovely algorithm, Alok, I would say. Second is about making impact. Vasudev says best author is to write for the facts and my own thoughts. Many may like, some may not. Lovely. Communication. Okay, so it's about communication. Cool. So over the years of best author focuses on process. Best selling author is focused on results. Amazing, lovely, wonderful insights. Actually, one will follow the two. Okay, cool. Best selling has some mathematics behind it. Best author, we have to focus on the skills. Absolutely, Umaji. Uh, so I guess most of you got it, spotted it right, that the difference between being a best selling author and a best author is definitely about, surely about the commercials and all that part is for sure there. Yet it is also about knowing the pulse of your reader. That's where the best author comes into the scene. It's a combination of what you are writing and making a bridge from your heart to their heart. So it's not about completely removing your identity or removing your essence and just thinking from the reader's point of view. It is about from starting from here and going till there. What all techniques which you can use while what you want to say, and it should be reaching in the same manner to the reader. So what is that technique which would convert this, or which would become your magic wand in all this journey? Okay, so that's what we are going to talk about today. So ready to become the best authors or start the journey? Yes, definitely an energetic yes in the morning would get all of us going. Cool. So I would, what if any guesses about what can be the secrets of creative writing? If I say in one line, can anybody answer what are the secrets of creative writing? It's a secret. Okay. And yes, when I'm saying best author, not it is not again limited to your books. It is always very expanded point of view, where you are writing your best, giving your best, regardless of whether you're producing a book or not, but you are making impact with your words. And that's what I mean. When it comes to becoming a best author, it is about putting out your best in writing while connecting the hearts. Okay. Shivani says connecting two or more concepts to bring out your unique version. Lovely. It needs to be explored. It's a skill that can be learned. Definitely. Cool. What if I tell you that the secret of creative writing is nothing more than the ABC? If you know that ABC of creative writing, you are all done. Any guesses what that ABC can be? Any wild guesses? And there's no right or wrong, because we all have right perspectives coming from the experiences, our own respective experiences. So I would, and since it is creative writing, giving a shot is a mandatory thing. Anybody can, Gayatri says, okay. Consistency in writing, which is for C, which may be there. Umaji says, reading, connecting, thought dumping. Okay. Always better concentration. Okay. Narendra says, cool. So I would call them the vitamins of creative writing. So vitamin A, B, and C of creative writing. Any more guesses? If that is giving you any hint before we move forward to the final A, B, and C, always be consistent, accept, bend, and create. Lovely. How creatively you are giving me ideas. I'm wondering about that, because even though mine might be different, yours are giving me much more ideas about how it can be so different. Connection. Reading, reading, reading. Okay, but that is RRR, Umaji. Act best, concentrate. Okay, lovely. And I'm loving all the guesses. It is all the more related to going deeper into creative writing. All right, let's begin with the first A, which is the vitamin A. That is, any guess before I go to the next slide? Absorb, breathe in, and create. Lovely, Shivani. Active awareness. Okay. So the first is authenticity. What, according to you, is authenticity? And what is the difference between authenticity and originality? What, according to you, is authenticity? Is about being you, Shivani says. And would love to know what is your understanding about the difference between authenticity and originality, if you think there is a difference at all. Hirani says it's expressing as you feel, Hirani ji. Okay, lovely. And it's going to be very interactive session. So all those who are still sleepy can say thank you to me.
Originality need not be authentic, and authentic has to be originality. We can say it this way.
Lovely, lovely, Shefali. Great, great perspective. Authentic, okay, plagiarism is not authentic. Authenticity is originality plus knowledge. Great, Alok. Rashida says authenticity is about being true to yourself. Dharmesh says being true to yourself. Being true to yourself, bringing your own unique thoughts that connect and knit while observing the things around. Great, great. So if there is difference between originality, if I say that both of them are trees, what can be the difference between originality and authenticity? If both of them are trees.
Authenticity is always having good fruits as an outcome.
Lovely.
Originality may not necessarily have sweet fruits as an outcome, or maybe no fruits. That is what I can share.
Wonderful, wonderful, Shefali. Nidhi says authentic based on source of information you take. Authenticity is adding your colors. Lovely, Abida. Manjeet says it is without mixing. Sandeep says comes from within. Awesome, amazing perspectives. I'm loving all the answers. Cool. So, when it comes to originality, it is more about I'm the first ever tree. So everything starts from me. Versus when we say authenticity, amongst all trees, I'm a special tree. And that's where your essence, as many of you mentioned, comes into the scene. Originality is about nothing precedes me. So I am the center. Everything originates from me. So if anything is coming, it is coming from me. Where versus authenticity, nothing can be compared with me. The originality is about I am the tree. So there might not be any other trees. Whereas authenticity is about, I am an apple and banyan tree, so I accept the existence of other trees as well. We all can relate this back to a very famous book, which is Feel Like an Artist. Many of us must have read that. And the core message of that book is that nothing is original in this world. If you think that I don't have a fresh idea, you exactly are saying the right thing, that none of us can have a fresh idea, but we can have a refreshed idea in our own ways, a recycled idea. And that's where our authenticity comes into the scene. Uh, that's where we accept that originality has already happened. Civilization has already happened. After that civilization, everything is development. You cannot say that even now we are getting civilized. So originality is part of that civilization. Now, when it comes to authenticity, what all you're developing is your personal taste into that. Okay. Amazing answers. Being true to yourself, authenticity is holistic. Authenticity will have our own touch. Amazing. Awesome. Cool. So what are the ways to be authentic in writing? Any guesses? How to have that authenticity in writing?
To write in line with certain standards of publishing a book.
Okay. Okay. So we are focusing on the larger aspect where not just the books are into the scene, but even if you're considering an email, you can still be authentic over there. And even if you're considering a short story, there also it can work. The very first part is rewiring. Any message, any story, any previously existing work, you mash that up in with another work and bring your essence. Two themes, two book ideas, two stories. I can relate back to the same rewiring to one of my projects, which I did for some Indian school competition, where I was asked to write a drama theme for drama for the school kids, which they needed to perform. And they asked me to be creative, where I don't need to do, I don't need to create any characters, but something comes from old cartoon characters for the kids. And that's where I first asked them that who all they know already about, so that I can be on the same grounds while creating those characters, or while experimenting with those. And the answers which came had two of my favorite characters, Mowgli and Harry Potter. So I brought them together in that drama, and I brought them into Hogwarts, which is the school for Harry Potter, for all those who are not aware about Harry Potter. So Harry Potter and Mowgli gets transported into Harry Potter's school somehow, and he's puzzled and he starts exploring and he meets Harry. And at the end, the core message about this is that regardless of howsoever different you are, regardless of howsoever alone you are, since both of them were orphans, uh, kind of orphans, like Mowgli did not have parents, and Harry also was deprived of his parents. Regardless of howsoever alone you are, there is a place where your blood, there would be relations beyond blood, and that would also be your family. So, and that family can be a school as well. So this is how I connected the whole message and wrote the whole drama script. Now there was nothing original here. Mowgli already existed. Harry Potter already existed. I got the theme from them that there has to be a meaningful message in that, and that is how I wove it around. So you can play around with anything, and in fact, rewiring is one of the most favorite technique of mine. Where whenever I don't have anything to write, I don't want to anything to journal, but still I want to write. I just pick up two weird stories, one movie, one novel, something, and I just come up with something one pager, and just sharpen my creativity. And sometimes it so happens that it strikes so well that I share it on social media, or maybe it comes out in some or the other way, or that's how, like, it keeps on going. So what, according to you, can you rewire? What is coming to your mind after understanding the concept of rewiring? What all you can rewire? You can just give me a random thought that I may rewire two movies together, which are maybe Hum Aapke Hain Kaun and Sholay, and bring something else together, or two characters from that movie and make them meet, or just one character entering into the other movie, anything, or movie or book or whatever, because creativity is not just related to books. Cool. Meanwhile, I will just read the chat and would love to know your essence, what you are getting or what ideas are getting sparked. That's your creativity. Thank you, Shivani. Cool.
Rewire two quotes also, two different quotes, and then write something new.
Absolutely. That's again what something I do on day-to-day basis, that I pick up a quote and I kind of rewire it either with another quote, or I use the next technique, which is about rewriting. So I rewrite it in my own way. If the quote is in a normal sentence, I sometimes make it a question. If a quote is normally written, I sometimes give it some metaphors, and that's how I give my essence to it and make it more authentic. So the thought already existed. What was not there was my essence, or how do I say that? And that's what makes the difference. So rewriting a story, a concept, by challenging an aspect of that, you will also see one of I've also experimented with Johari's window in my own way in my book, by completely rewiring and rewriting it in a different context. So this game of authenticity is very interesting, because when you get the freedom to put your essence, you can experiment with anything. The whole world becomes your laboratory. Uh, so rewrite anything, any story. Think about that from different aspect. What if the first person would have changed to the third person? How this story would have looked? What if I write this email uh, starting from the final outcome, asking them the question that how do you rate it, rate yourself for maybe productivity, and then going ahead. What if I put a story over there in the mail and then ask them the questions and then move forward to the data? So how would you rewrite it according to your way rather than the already set structure? That's where your fluidity and your essence will build up your authenticity. Cool. Yeah, kind of redesigning. Even some write Ramayana from Sita's perspective. Definitely, there are books on Sita's perspective also. Uh, the enchantment of Forests of Enchantment, and there's another one, Palace of Illusions. Definitely, they are from Sita's point of view. Amish Tripathi does retelling of mythology from his point of view, where he's making Shiva the human and how he became the god. So all the uh, great tasks which he did in order to become a human, that gives a very different perspective altogether. Although some may feel offended that that's about playing with mythology, but that's where putting your essence, because the author is already declaring that I'm not touching the original work. However, I'm retelling it. Devdutt Patnaik, absolutely. Cool. Uh, the next part comes is revolutionizing or going rebel. Uh, Again, one of my favorite techniques, because when I'm an author and when I'm a book coach, that's where the shift happens. When I'm an author, I write from heart. My more of kinesthetic part is on, my feeling part is on. What am I feeling and what am I writing? So it is just in that flow. But when I'm a book coach, my complete representational system changes to AD, which is auditory digital, and I think about logics, how this is written, how this could have been better, or how the sentences are formed. Is the thought really resonating with me? And one of those incidents I can share here is that when I was reading A Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, there was this line which she was emphasizing in the book, that, and nothing against the author, it was just that I did not resonate after the number of years in writing, that this is not work, like this has not worked with me. So many of the authors say that you have to wait for the muse, you have to wait for your inspiration and then write. Over the period of time, I realized that if you really want to make money with writing, if you're just taking it for fun and passion, till then it is fine. But if you really want to make your mark, if you really want to be there on social media, if you really want to give it a different turn, that's where this logic doesn't work. Because if you keep on waiting for years and years, you're more of a waiter than a writer. And that's what I understood. I used to wait. It's not that I haven't been there. I used to wait for my inspiration. In fact, my initial two books were outcome of that only. I waited, and whenever the inspiration struck me, I wrote it. Otherwise, I was not writing. So it wasn't giving me consistency. It wasn't giving me that vision that, okay, being an author is about something. It was just like, I want to write and I'm writing. And I would not say that that's a wrong part, because that's where we all start. However, with time, the things change. When you really want to make a mark, or when it is about your personal branding, or when it is about taking writing seriously or making that influence, that's where this approach comes into the scene. How does this work? Is that whatever content you're consuming, just look at it with all the checks. How would you have expressed it? Is a way to rebel. That you are not discarding them, but you would say that I would have done this thing in this way. Or there's some thought which over the years you realize that, it didn't work with me. Go ahead and express that. And that's where many of others will also be able to resonate. There are many, I'm sure, who have been on both sides, waiting for the muse and also forcing themselves to write, sitting and, this is my time to write and I have to write. Whatever bullshit I'm writing right now, it doesn't matter, but I have to write. And that's where my discipline and consistency started coming. Obviously, just like bad hair days, there were bad writing days most of the time. Yet there were writing days, and that's what really mattered, and that's what got me going. So I actually held a session in my book club regarding the same, that I actually don't agree somehow on this topic, that where she's saying that you have to wait for the muse. So find those things. If you are, it's like getting meaningfully involved in the content you're consuming rather than just scrolling through. When you're scrolling through, you're thinking that what essence you can put out there. Do you have an opinion? And don't be afraid of expressing that opinion. That's where the revolutionizing part will come into the scene. That's where people will get to know you, that these are your thoughts. It doesn't necessarily has to be a rebel or a thought which is opposite to what already has been said. It also may be the extension of that. Both ways it is fine, as long as you are expressing what is coming from your experience rather than just going about what already has been there. One of my, Narendra says, one of my friends wrote the positive qualities of KK's character. Wow. That's a very interesting one. I would love to read that, Narendra. Awesome. So there are several ways to do that. These three ways are my personal favorites for being authentic. Cool. So that was about vitamin A. Any ideas about vitamin B? What can that be? What can be the vitamin B of creative writing?
Creativity.
The B, not C.
Oh, B.
Brevity.
Absolutely, brevity. So we cannot go. And what, since the answer came on one click itself, I would love to know what brevity is to you.
It's the conciseness. In short words, what more you can speak. Or you can say the best thing is when we start writing, it is the best writing comes out when we do not have words to write more, but when we do not have words to cut them down more.
Lovely.
Madam, when less is more.
Absolutely, Hirani. Being concise when less is more. Yeah, Vidya. It's same with me. It's same with me. I'm also working on my vitamin B part. So I consciously work on that. I kill my darlings, I kill my words, and I remove them, because I'm also a very elaborative person. So
I would like
and there's
to
nothing
add
wrong in
here.
being elaborative.
I also have been, notorious for writing long letters, long emails and long texts. But it's a challenge how to explain. Sometimes you have to explain. You need words. You need words. So that is one point. We would like to be educated upon, definitely, in brevity.
Lovely. So
And
it's
just
a
to add, I think a lot of times we tend to digress from the subject and we try to over elaborate. How do we stick to the point that we want to convey so that we don't digress and convey to that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, Dharmesh. So we'll have a look at that because I'm also a work in progress for Brevity. So whatever I could come up with, I've shared that in the PPT. Being concise, metaphors can help definitely, Rashida. I totally believe in that, that metaphors summarize everything. Vasudev says poems are best version from brevity, shortness, cool. Great. So we will see what brevity is. How can you imbibe brevity in your writing? As I said, brevity is the soul of wisdom. It's a secret sauce of wisdom, where less is more, where it is not about less words, but it is about more impact through less words. And that's what we will see how we can imbibe that. So there are three ways. One is conciseness. Send your words on diet, kind of cut off every word. If a sentence has 12 words, cut every word and see whether your sentence is really making sense without that word or not. If it is, then just remove that word, because an ideal sentence, there's a very famous book about that, and its name is, yeah, several short sentences about writing. My bookshelf is there, so I was looking at that. It's about several short sentences about writing, and the most beautiful part about that book is that the whole book is written in several short sentences only. So it's like sentence breakage book, and the book says that an ideal sentence, the ideal length of a sentence has only 6 words. And I was wondering since then that when was the last time I had at first short written just 6 words and made an impactful sentence. And that's where it keeps hitting my mind as a reminder every now and then, that I have to at least put 7 to 8 words, if not 6. So I keep on working on that and cut everything and see whether it is making sense or not, because we include because, since, as long as. When these words are removed and still your sentence is making sense, that's where brevity, that's where your conciseness goes level up. You can also take
Basically,
help.
reducing usage of clauses within sentences and breaking down the sentences into multiple sentences.
Absolutely. So when you're saying and, make different sentence after the and. A reader with a goldfish span these days who are just browsing those 30-second reels are also an overwhelming thing for them. You are serving them a sentence of 20 words and still expecting that the reader will read your words and be fan of yours. I guess when I also read, I was really captivated by this book, which I mentioned about several short sentences about writing, because the words were, it was just, 6 words and sentence over, 6 words and sentence over, and it really made sense. It really stayed with me. And when that was happening with me, I could relate it to the other side of the table, that how would the reader would be feeling if I'm, bombarding them with a long sentence with lots of commas and everything. So that's where the conciseness comes into the scene.
But will it not, like, if we deliberately want to do this, will it not impact the authenticity with which we are writing? It would disturb that.
The idea would still be authentic. The idea which you are saying would still be authentic. In fact, we'll do one exercise at the end of this regarding brevity, where I have also written one whole paragraph. You will convert to the brevity, and I will also convert that into brevity, and I'll show you that if it was 6 lines, how can we make it in 3-4 lines. So we'll cut.
Okay.
Then only we will realize that without this also this was working. In fact, Grammarly, if you go to Grammarly and if you put up your paragraph or writing over there, when it cuts all these words, since, as long as, all these clauses, they cut it and still the sentence makes sense. In fact, the sentence makes sense in much more clearer way. So that also gave me an insight. Okay, why was I using this when without this it was making sense? There are 3 more extra words which we think that it's fine. But for the readers, from the reader's perspective, or their psychology works this way, that if it is taking time for me to read, it should be worth my time. So if you're saving time for your reader, apart from giving value, that's where that loyalty of the reader comes into the scene. Next part is clarity. What are you writing? Always have a one-line message. When I did book writing in TTT also, I my very first question to all of them was, describe your book idea in one line. If you can describe your book idea, content idea, email idea, anything in one line, you got it right. If that one, because that one line will have the summary of everything you want to say. So if you have that what in one line described, then you can describe it in whichever way you want. So having that clarity about what you're writing, for whom you're writing, who is your target audience? Is it LinkedIn audience? And then the usage of words cannot be casual. If it is Instagram or if it is TikTok, you can go a bit casual and use the words which you generally cannot use in professional world. So if it is for coaches, you have to use terminology which are related to coaches. If it is related to doctors or CAs, using those terminology will really get them interested in that. So meeting them where they are, as NLP also says, whom are you writing for? Having that target reader in mind is really important. Why are you writing? What is your, if I say, when you write, the first step is write it in one line. Second step should be, what are the 3 points which you want to convey? That's where your 3 points will elaborate your message. And then comes why really you want to convey this message, which is a background homework. You don't really need to express that in your writing, that why are you writing? But having that why gives you a clarity. Why exactly are you writing that LinkedIn article? Why exactly are you writing that that email? What really you are willing to? You want to write for an impact part. You want to write to explain something. You want to write to share your experience. You want to write to state a data which you somewhere read in the research. Having that clarity really matters and can sharpen your brevity in writing. The last part is, how are you writing? Now, how comes in the formats? You're writing it as one-liner. Are you writing it as a paragraph? Are you writing it for social media? What is the length? What is the style? Is it a question style? Is it an open ending? Is it a storytelling style? Is it just the data sharing? Is it just the 3 pointers which you learned? Is it a letter to 2023? And just putting your heart out, how you are expressing that thought according to the target audience. So this is about the clarity. Next comes is persuasiveness, where how you put reader into a zone where they are captivated or compelled enough to read whatever you have written. Also, there are 2 things here. One is a brief formula, one is the right versus right. Just writing with those heavy words. Many of us, I guess, how many of you say that, I want to have my good vocabulary. I want to upgrade my vocabulary. I want to write those beautiful words, ornamented words, so that, I can captivate the reader. I would love to know your answers in the chat box. Vidya says yes. Manisha says yes. Shefali says yes. And I also used to say yes. Till the time I realized, in fact, if I look back of my writing 10 years back, Hirani ji, you got it right. I love to use simple words. And that's what I realized with lessons learned hard way. And so when it comes to having those vocabulary and those words which you think that you don't have, that's where even I used to stand at those crossroads where I used to think that, I need to upgrade my vocabulary. What I didn't realize that time is that I need to upgrade the belief that whatever vocabulary I have is more than enough. Because if you're describing, let's say you're describing a library scene, and you have to describe library scene without saying that it is a library, or without talking about exactly telling that it is a library. How would you do that with an upgraded vocabulary? You may say that elucidate, using heavy words over there, but would that really paint a picture in reader's mind? Versus if you're saying and using such words like, whispering while reading the book so that others could not be disturbed. That sentence itself is a very simple sentence, but just the word whisper which is the right word in right context. A very simple word. Painted a picture in reader's mind that, okay, they're at some place where people are around and they don't need to be disturbed. So that one sentence painted a picture in reader's mind without having a heavy vocabulary. So next time when you think that you need to have a heavy vocabulary, just be light on that, because it's about the right word, not about writing heavy words. Absolutely, knowing your audience is important. Cool. We move to the brief formula.
I can say here that I'm impressed by Shashi Tharoor, the usage of words he uses, but I have to use the dictionary most than my imagination. So this is the place where I take a step back.
Absolutely. So Shashi Tharoor may sound like, oh my God, writing. But when you read that, oh my God, writing, are you focused on the message he wants to convey, or you have a dictionary in hand to, decipher everything which has been said? And that's where our objective is never to deviate our reader to the dictionary. They will get overwhelmed and they will not read you. Having that simplicity, in fact, all those, you can check this after this workshop. You go back and see all the quotes by all great people, and tell me and come back to me that if you find any heavy word over there, still the quote is very nicely well. Honesty is the best policy. Tell me which is the heavy word over there, but still that has got ingrained in our mind like anything. And then you can play around with that, like then playing around with quotes comes into the scene. But having those simple words will really save your time, will really save readers energy, and saving that reader's time and energy and focusing on conveying your message impactfully. That's where it will make the difference. The first comes as, coming back to this, the brief formula. B stands for break. B stands for break. Breaking your sentences, paragraph, lines at right places really changes the whole game. How would you do that? Is first thing is, I have seen, even I used to do that writing long paragraphs, where if somebody would used to ask me that you have to break this, thankfully I had good friends who used to show me the mirror that look at your writing, and I used to tell them that where to break. I mean, I'm not finding a right point where I think that where should I break this. And that's where, although my friends never told me that this is where you need to break, they just said that keep reading, observe where other people are breaking their paragraphs, where other people are doing that, and it will get imbibed in you. Because writing is something, it is just like language. If you're left in a French country where you don't know French language, but after a year you will know little bit part of French language without even going to the school for French. Why? Because you're living in that environment, you're observing everybody. Your need to communicate can only be fulfilled if you observe the gestures and match them with the words. And that's something which you did by yourself. And that's where writing also, learning writing is also similar with this process. You pick up a book and you pick up and don't just read. You dissect the book. You dissect, okay, now if the author is talking about clarity in writing, there are 3 points which they have made in each paragraph, rather than just writing, rather than just reading. So what are those? First paragraph was maybe about, what is your message? The second paragraph has changed. What is your, why is your message over there? So there are 2 different pointers over there, and that's where you need to break it. Similarly, in sentences, when you are shifting from one idea to the other, or when you are shifting from elaborating that idea with different waves of, I would say, elaborating that idea, then you break up your sentences. So first is breaking. Second is rewriting. Writing is not tough, not at all. Even if it is writing your first book, 4th book, 5th book, 10th book, writing will never be tough. What is tough is, or what is challenging, I would not say tough, what is challenging and equally thrilling is rewriting. Because when you rewrite, you have to look at your own mental baby with a critical perspective. Where all I can cut, where all I can rewrite, where all I can, change the words, where all the words are not important, where all I need to reframe this, where all I need to maybe change the point of view. And that is a bit tough because you are again questioning what you have already done. So rewriting is again a part where sometimes whatever you have said can be said in a different way. So rewriting is important. What is your intent? So whenever I write for any social media, I make sure that I write two emotions which I want my readers to feel at the end of that. Maybe I just write that, I want to feel them motivated and relax, that writing is easy. If that is my intent, then after deciding the Z, I go back to the A, that, now let me write and come back to the Z while connecting the dots, whether it is leading to the Z or not. So I start from the end and then I go back and start from the start, that since I have decided that this is what the feeling should be, I connect my words, I connect my metaphors, I connect my ideas accordingly. The tone of the words, everything goes into the line. So your intent is very important when you're writing. Next is essence. We have already talked about a lot in authenticity, where how you will put it. Everything else has been written. I guess that's a quote by somebody, I forgot, but it has not been written by you. And having that belief that you will bring up something different, that's where you will be at a place of power, and you will be at the place of that heightened self-belief that, yes, I can make a difference. Having that essence is very important. Even if you don't have any of these, but you have your essence in place, your writing will still be making sense. Your writing will still be liked by everybody. So that essence is most essential part. And last is frame. How are you framing it? Again, it is about you want to frame it in what point of view, first person, second person, third person, how which way you are framing it. You want to frame it in storytelling, you want to frame it just with a single metaphoric theme. There are several techniques for that. So which technique you're using and what you're framing, according to that also matters. So that's the brief formula. With that, we will move towards the third part, which is the C of writing, vitamin C. Great, lovely chats over there I just read. Any guesses for C?
That's consistency.
Okay.
Creativity.
Kind of. Yes. Creativity. I have defined creativity in my own way, and I'm sure that you all have your own definitions for sure. So for me, creativity is, it is clarity. We have already covered in brevity part. So creativity for me is about the ability to connect the dots. If I'm doing NLP, can I connect that with my writing? If I'm reading science, any formula of science, can I connect that with my writing or a formula of writing? If recently when we were doing the book writing program in PPT, I don't know whether KGG is here or not, but she connected two very different things in a very beautiful way. And since she's a Six Sigma expert, she connected that Six Sigma process with the process of book writing. And she explained that to us, that, this is how it can be connected. And this is how your book writing process can be flawless. And that was a aha moment for me, that, wow, something completely technical and something which is considered to be creative can also have a structure. So connecting the dots, how would you do that? There are several ways. It's not just that what I'm saying is it's limited to that, but this is what I have tried. So I call it cutting edge. You can call it creative. You can call it any name which relates to C. Basically, it is about connecting the dots. So how to steal like an artist? Definitely, I'm saying you're going to steal, but you're going to steal in a way that your essence is there. There are few things which I've tried in my fourth book. And when you steal, you can link the content, you can tweak the content, you can devise your own content formula theory. by yourself. How I did that, there are some glimpses of that. This is my 4th book's excerpt, The Writer's Code. There was this, I was talking about mindset, the writer's mindset. And I picked up, I was browsing through all the theories related to mindset. I came across this resilient mindset model by Donna Volpita. And I mentioned that because I'm not saying that it is my model. It is definitely hers. How I connected that with writing is what I put my essence about in the book. I explain the whole process so that people know that what it is about. And then I explain that how writers can work on their resilient mindset with this model. So you are not actually stealing. You are just crediting their work, explaining their work, but making sure that it is making sense in your niche, in your context. So that is called linking. You're linking something to your part. Pick up any theory, how Johari's window can be related to coaching, how Johari's window can be related to CAs. What would they put over there? How would you link that? So that is called linking. You're picking up, which is already there on internet. Any YouTube talk, any TEDx talk, pick up that, see how you can link your message with that. I had picked up The Power of Yet. There was a TED talk by Carol S. Dweck. And I worked on that, and I included one exercise related to that for writers so that they can work on their beliefs as a writer. I definitely gave due credits to the person from whom I have learned or got the idea. So again, although we say that we steal like an artist, we are actually just picking up the reference because nothing is original. So how I devised that and how I linked to that and how I came up with my own exercise is what really made the difference, in my book. Again, this is another example of mindset funnel, how your mindset develops. I got all this from internet, but I've given due credits to those people, and then I connected it with mine. This is called tweaking. This is Johari's window. I tweaked it in a negative tone. How your self-doubt develops. What can be the self-doubt? How self-doubt looks like or maybe sounds like. And there I use the same structure, known by self, known by others. The structure was same. I had the self-doubt monster. I included that. So if something is known by self and known by others, what can be the negative belief about that? How your self-doubt develops. If you're saying that, my book has to be perfect, which you think that people also look for, you have to make a perfect book, and you also think, but that's where, the perfectionist monster come and you start doubting whether I would be able to do that or not. Similarly, I have all the 4 quadrants I have filled up according to that. So Johari's window, on the other hand, is a very empowering one. I completely tweaked it, gave it a negative tone, and explained my concept that this is how self-doubt develops. So the concept definitely was original. I tweaked it and included my own part. And you can, right now, it might look like a mumbo jumbo to you that, how would I do that? And that's where, if you're asking this question that how would I do that, congratulations, because that's where the discovery starts. When you're asking this question, your mind will definitely answers. The answers are already within you. Cool. So that is tweaking. And third is devising. When in doubt, question. That was my one line which I had written in my book. And when I thought about it, I thought deeper into it, what kind of questions are important. So I thought that if your why and what are clear, maybe your how will be automatically taken care of. So if you have a balance between your why and what, as soon as the balance word came to my mind, this weighing scale came to my mind. And that's what I went to Canva. I devised this. I mean, there are already pre-made elements over there. I just wrote why and what. I downloaded that and included in my book. So when you're thinking, think in terms of metaphors. When you're saying balance, what is the metaphor which would represent that balance? And then put up your theory, or then put up your words over there in that metaphor. Designing is very easy these days. Canva is handy at your for you. So nothing to worry about designing. In fact, you can hire a designer if there is too much to do or if that overwhelms you. What really matters here is that are you able to come up with your own theory with one line and can picturize that with metaphor. Okay, so these were the 3 ways you can have a cutting edge content with you, and nobody will point out at you that you have stolen like an artist, because you are actually an artist and you have just done the essence. Okay, so before we move forward, this is the before we wrap up, this is the brevity activity. This is the randomly written part. Just summarize that, or you can rewrite it completely. You can tell it in just two lines also. That's completely, you don't need to pick up the same words while doing this, because rewriting is important part of brevity. But the message has to be clear that it is about awareness. Awareness is about we are not aware of our thoughts and how it can be developed. These are three parts in this. So we'll take just 5 minutes, whatever you can come up with, that is fine. And then we'll wrap it up. I'll show my part and that would be it. So just after 2-3 minutes, I will ping up. If you want to share it in the chat box, I would love to read your answers. So share an example with you. I just read the chat. So Manisha, I'm not good at writing yet, and fill up the sentence. So you're accepting that you're not good at writing yet. There are possibilities which you can explore. So by using the word yet, how much difference it is making in your life and your own beliefs and your own self-talk, which is a complete game changer. Awareness patterns override. Okay. So is that your the brief of this, Rashida?
The main ideas that
Okay, main idea. Cool. Make your own destiny by increasing awareness of your limiting beliefs. Overcome it. Lovely. Awareness breaks the subconsciously hidden limiting beliefs. Brilliant. Now these lines versus one line, I guess most of it has been taken care of, Umaji and Vasudev. As I said, brevity is work in progress. It's okay if, in fact, the one which I will show you is also not that brief, that one liner. It also has 3-4 liners. So that's a work in progress. You will come up with surely like 2-3 lines, 1 line, 2 line. Shivani says, discover the infinite potential within you by becoming aware of your subconscious thoughts, patterns, and limiting beliefs. Lovely. Nawaz says, words have power. They create your world. Use them wisely. Less is more. Wow. Gurpreet says, as you sow, so shall you reap. Awareness is seed. Destiny is fruit. Beautiful. Becoming aware of our own subconscious thoughts gives us the power to change our reality by breaking patterns and opening up new possibilities. Beautiful. In awareness, we are enlightened. Lovely. Cool. So that's what I had written. Our deep subconscious thoughts are invisible chains binding us to our past experiences. Imagine a bird trapped in a cage. It doesn't know that the door is open and it continues beating its wings against the bars. We are all like that bird. It is awareness that opens our eyes and helps us spread our wings. Spreading, I've done it wrong, spread our wings. So, again, I would say that this is, sorry.
That's a beautiful story. You use the
Thank
powers of
you.
metaphors.
Thank you. So, that's about brevity. That's about ABC of writing, which are the secrets I generally follow in writing. And thank you so much for being so patient. And I'm open to questions. Acceptance, the key to change. Lovely.
Heena, I would like to ask a question here.
Yes.
That most of your talk, was it focused on I mean fiction writing, or was it for non-fiction also?
Both.
And it was for both. So
Yes.
so when you give credit, I mean, we are in a process of writing a book, so we are quite worried about the plagiarism part. So when you give credit to an author, when you said about picking up, I think you use the word stealing also there. I think artistic stealing, I think you said. So when you give a credit to someone, do you need his permission or her permission, or you can just just mention and give credit and go ahead?
Yes, you can mention and give credit and go away, because you're giving credit. So it means you are kind of, even if the person comes across, they know that their name has been mentioned. So there's nothing like legal plagiarism in that. If you are stealing, like without saying that, if I would have said that I've made Johri's window, that's where it would have come into the legal part, or it would have been offensive, or it would have been breaking those legal laws over there. But if, as long as you are expressing it, you don't need permission from them, as long as you're crediting that.
And another thanks for that. And another thing which comes to mind is about co-authorship. All your talk was based on self, individual this thing, and obviously, I mean, it's not very common when you go for joint authorship, but that's a big challenge also. So, but it has its advantages. So, what do you feel about going for because we are also in process. One thing I had shared in the chat, that we are also in process of rewriting, and that is one of the most wonderful experiences we are having, where we are going into rewriting, and many things are coming to mind that we about brevity also. So what do you think about joint ownership, joint authorship, and how to be brief, and how to convince many authors, on many things?
So Narendra, I would love to ask. See, I look at joint authorship in two ways. One is that you're coming up with your own articles and making a book together, kind of anthology. That is also co-authorship. Another thing is you're writing the whole book. Suppose you and I are writing one same book, and we have our ideas combined on a one single topic. Suppose productivity, and you're also writing, I'm also writing. We may divide it into initial these chapters you will do, or the what part of it you will do, I will do the how part of it. That is another kind of co-authorship. So which one you're talking about? First, I would love to know that.
Yeah, the second part, which you said, that we have allocated chapters to each other.
Okay.
So sometimes, there's a mismatch, and it's very tough to sometimes, convince people what is really required, because, the main coordinator may be one or two people, and the authors might be more than 10. So it becomes a challenge. But the advantage, as I said, the advantage is that you get such a wealth of information that, the book becomes very rich in a sense, but it becomes long, and it takes time. Some main thing is it takes time, to follow up with people and get things done.
Absolutely. So coming to this part, that when there are multiple authors over there and you are writing the book, or I would say co-writing the book together, the first part, as you already said, you have divided the chapters. So there the confusion about or convincing them to be on the same page, I would say that would rather than that, accept that, there would be differences, because there are different opinions, different people, different writing styles, different voices. And
Yeah,
that's the
definitely.
beauty of that book. So you can strengthen that beauty by saying that, so many authors or so many experts have come at the same place and writing that book and giving it, but so that, you're buying one book, but you're reading 100 minds. So rather than, asking them to be on the same writing voice, how about, giving them that freedom that, okay, this chapter is yours, your name is there at the end of that, that's your writing voice, that's your way to write it, uh, and then respecting that. And simultaneously, if you think that, there's lack of brevity, there are few things which needs to be really taken care of, you can hold some sessions over there that, this is how it is done. And I'm sure that, suppose you're conducting a session on metaphors, how metaphors can be imbibed in writing. Now, after conducting a session, I'm sure that all of them will come up with different metaphors in different ways in their writing. And that's how you can bring that similarity as well in writing. So writing voices can be different, sentence structures can be different, sentences lengths can be different. But what really matters to you, having that in priority, that for me, brevity matters, for me, explaining in metaphor matters, and having those in line, and then, talking to them at one place that this is how these should be the common points, and then you can go anywhere you want. So this is the structure and this is the fluidity. Your fluidity is your writing voice. The structure is that we need these things in place. So that is how you can combinedly, I would have worked if I would have done that.
Thank you, Heena. Thank you, Heena. We are working in the same direction, and I'm really very thankful to you that, now I'm convinced that we are in the right direction. Actually, thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you to.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Heena, for all the wonderful insights you bring in today. So there were many new learnings for each one of us. And anyone would like to ask your specific question? You can unmute and speak.
Hi, may I?
Yeah, go ahead, Nawasi.
It was such a pleasure to see Heena on this session today, though I was tied up and I joined rather late. I will go through the recording, but I saw from the brevity part of it. And as usual, Heena, you were amazing. A little question on it, that when you're doing co-authoring books, yeah? So I have co-authored 4 books up to now. And what my first co-authored book, which I had coordinated, what we did was we decided on a topic. It was called 9 Facets of Effective Living. And then each of us, 9 people, got together and wrote on one topic. So it did not clash with each other. It was one topic. Another very powerful co-authored book with 40 co-authors was Our Journey to Find Our Purpose.
Beautiful.
So each one, it's an anthology of purpose. It's continuing. Now we are going into edition 3, where we'll have many more authors. And so each one's journey was their own, didn't have to match the others. And yet each chapter was like, if somebody wants to find their own journey and find their own purpose and have not yet done so, reading that book and 40 different journeys will definitely light bulb their mind into, ideas how they can find their own. So I just wanted to share that here.
Amazing.
Any thoughts on to improve on ideas for our 3rd edition?
Lovely. So I'm enthralled by that idea. And coincidentally, I'm working on an international project for the same, for a corporate. So they have come up to me in a number of 6 to 7 authors, and they said that they wanted to work on people and culture. That's what's the topic. And so it was me to explore and give them the outline that, this is how you can work on. And I gave them a mind map that these can be the topics. even if you cover the what, how, and where of it, or whatever, and these can be the topics, these can be the subtopics, these can be the techniques. So how I do was, once we decided the topics, every session there was one topic and in session writing regarding that. So one topic they are picking up, 20 minutes for research, 40 minutes for writing, and 10 minutes for discussion. So this is how we divided and completed that with, like, it's about to be done like within time. And in session writing made sure that they don't have to spend extra time, which generally
So
overwhelms
each
people.
one wrote on each topic, is it?
Absolutely. So when we will be compiling the book, it would be one topic, then several perspectives by the name of the author, that this author has this essay. It is kind of collection of essays, just like you said.
That's a different style. Wonderful. Thanks. Yeah. It's a learning for me.
Welcome.
Wonderful. Thanks, Heena. I've sent you a DM as well.
Okay, I'll check.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nawazi. Any other?
I have a question. May I? I'm sorry, I'm not able to turn on my video.
Yeah, it's okay. Go
ahead. Hi, Heena. That was a wonderful session. Thank you so much for the magic you created this morning on this Saturday. Okay, I have a specific question. How to get better at thinking of metaphors? Because metaphor, sometimes, metaphor, I know I've also been in the NLP training, metaphors, actually, even otherwise.
Okay, Vidya. So the simplest way to get better at metaphors in one line, before I elaborate it in several lines, is go random. Suppose this session, if you have to compare it with something, this session was like what? So the first word came to me is fresh morning dew, or fresh dew of fresh dew drop. So asking questions, what it is like, that is a game changer for thinking about metaphors. When you ask this question, what it is like, your mind starts going in the direction of finding similarities. What it is like, what it was like, what is it I can compare it with in terms of similarities. And when you compare it with similarities, you can come back and see what characteristics you picked up. When I said that it is like a dew drop, I focused on the freshness. Right? There are many other, if I focus on knowledge, I can consider it as ocean, which is depth. So ask a question what it is like, and your mind will come up with several answers. That's where the similarity will come into the scene. So this is the simplest way to do that. However, if you want to go into the depth, there are good books over there, and the best one which I read so far is Metaphorically Selling by Ann Miller. And she has her newsletter as well, and the book is full of exercises after every chapter, and that will really get you going. In fact, in Story Spark, the recent activity which I talked about, the brand differentiator, that got that was inspired by the same book.
Those again, I'm a part of that group. The exercises you give are very powerful. Sometimes I'm not able to do, but because I just wonder how to do it. But then just by looking at the examples you give, you first draft it and then you share it and then you ask us to do. That's wonderful. It got me thinking. I did one exercise and it was very powerful. I'm still improving. So then, it's wonderful. I'm a part of that, and thank you for whatever you're sharing there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And we all are improving and work in progress.
Absolutely. I'm also, I've taken your help as a part of NLP group. I had written a story on my Facebook group, and thank you so much for the inputs you gave me as to how to start, because I had a different perspective in the other group, a part of the coaching group, and then there is a different perspective, but then you added another perspective, and thank you so much. It's really expands, gives us more perspectives and possibilities of how to make writing very effective and still touch the reader's soul. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Vidya.
Thank you, Vidya ji. It was
pleasure. And Shivani, thank you Shivani ji, thank you so much. I am seeing how you're consistently, you and your in that SOS skilling on Saturdays, you're going on adding new topics and a lot of good work. Thank you so much for all that you're doing. I struggle with consistency, and I know how difficult it is to keep on showing up and doing the same work. But then you are amazing. How do you do that? It's really,
So
it's
thank you
wonderful.
so much.
Thank you so much for being you.
It's not always the same thing, but I'm bringing a new thing to learn every week, and that itself inspires us to go follow the consistency.
Actually, it is a secret. She's not telling me also.
Pardon, sir?
It is her secret, I told. She's not even revealing to us. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you everyone for
Thank
joining
you.
us today and making it a huge successful program. I hope everyone received their new insights and new learnings and gained a lot from the creativity and especially the secrets of creative writing that Heena ji brought today with us. Thank you everyone.
I
You
would
can
like
share
to.
your feedbacks via Google form, or I'll open the group for a day, and you can put your thoughts and feedbacks in the group itself.
Shivani, I would like to applaud Hina ma'am that she made it so simple, It was in such a simple way she taught everything. That was fantastic.
Definitely, sir.
My pleasure,
That's,
my pleasure. Thank
that's
you
the
so much.
magic of Heena ji.
Heena, can we have your, I mean, the presentation and your LinkedIn contact or your WhatsApp contact?
Yeah, sure. I'm on LinkedIn by Heena M. Shrivastava, and WhatsApp contact, I guess Shivani will share. I have joined the
I'll
group
share.
also. Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
share your details.
Okay. It will be a
Thanks.
pleasure. It will be a pleasure to exchange about creative writing, definitely.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much. Thank you so much
Thank you,
to
everyone.
all of you.
I'll say that, if you really like this session, then you should go to the depth of it and buy her book, Writer's Code. You will get lots and lots from
Yes.
there. Yes.
Good.
It's like,
Thank you, thank you,
whenever you read it, you get a new perspective and you get a change of shift in your writing completely.
Thank
Just
you.
what is the name of the book? Sure,
The
just send it on the
Writer's
group.
Code. Writer's Code, yeah.
That is what. Just surely send it on the group so everybody can
I'll
buy it
share.
if they want. Yes.
Sure.
Thank you.
And
Thank
ma'am,
you,
what are the
Aparna,
courses
for
you are
sharing your
running?
valuable time with us. Yeah, Alokji.
What are the courses you are running?
So the major one is book writing. Recently I've started and yet to launch, and there's this free group which I'm Story Spark, my membership, where I am conducting personal branding, storytelling, NLP, and creative writing. So the membership would be a combination of all these things.
Okay.
That's the major one. Short story writing, writing consultations are all there.
Okay.
That's
So that's
about it.
available on your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So, Heena, do you have your link tree?
Yeah, I do have.
Share it. I'll share in the group. And
Sure.
I would also request everyone to create their link tree.
Link
So
tree.
you can that works as your digital visiting card. And whatever you are doing, you can link it there. And just one link you share, and people will get to know whatever you are doing. So you don't need to send the individual links of all the platforms or the books you have written, the courses you are operating. So this is much more needed. And if any one of you require help while creating your link tree, I have planned like we'll take some in some session we'll give a live demo that will help to everyone.
But I think before that, if they have their presence on LinkedIn, YouTube, everywhere, it will be better.
Yeah, definitely.
Before your course.
Definitely. We'll bring some session on social media handling. Next week, we are bringing Nilesh Kataria, who is a social media influencer. And he is having more than 50K followers on LinkedIn. So definitely we are going to learn a lot from his insights that he will be bringing for personal branding on LinkedIn. Thank you, everyone. See you next Saturday. Anyone
Thank you so
from
much.
the YouTube Mastery course, if you have any queries, we can continue. Anyone is
Thank
there?
you so much to
from the
all of
YouTube
you.
Mastery
Shivani, I would
course?
like to take a leave.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Heena.
Thank you, sir.
Or you can connect to me directly at the group, and we'll share a separate Zoom link if it is required. Thank you, everyone.